Hello and welcome to Lesson 3 in Intermediate Programming with Scratch. Now in this lesson we're going to get a little bit more into the sprites and go over a little bit more in terms of these built-in variables and then the variable we defined. So last lesson we covered broadcasting, and so you know when start is clicked it's broadcasting a message, right? It's sending a message. Just think of it as yelling a message out. So it's sending a message called broadcast, or actually called start. It's broadcasting this message. And this is looking for when I receive start that message. And this is also doing the same thing. Notice how this one sprite, I'm kind of doing some parallel processing within the one sprite. As well as among the sprites, this sprite also has two little processes going, looking for the same message. Now our buttons that we programmed are real simple. I mean, really all start is doing is sending a message out so that these two sprites can react. Stop is just stopping. And clear is just clearing the pen marks that we're making. Because we're using some of these pen functions, we're actually using the stamp function, and you'll see it as we get into more depth of this lesson here. But what I kind of want to first start you off with is in this project as you're building it, placing your little buttons here down along the bottom, real simple buttons, and I just created them by painting them. Just real simple, created a little rectangle, and then I typed start, stop, clear. Okay, so let's go ahead and cancel that. And then these were real simple. This little spiral, the one that's going to spiral, if you look, it's just a real simple little sprite. And we're going to stamp to make copies of it. And the same thing with this whirl. And we're also going to stamp to make copies of it. And we're also going to change its color. And so, like we mentioned, we've gone through the scripts that are within the buttons. So those are really simple. Here in the next lesson, lesson 4, we'll get in depth of the scripts themselves. But one thing I really wanted to point out is that we do have built-in variables. And any time you're seeing one of these round little blocks, that's one of the built-in variables. And you'll notice, see how I have loudness toggled here, and I also have my microphone on. So you're going to see this built-in loudness variable is basically a microphone sensor, and we can make things react to these numbers, and we'll do that here. We also predefined a variable called size, and so what we're doing with size is really just displaying the original size, actually doubling. We're multiplying the loudness by this size variable so we can actually get a visual to see what the size variable is going to end up looking like. And you'll notice where we're using that is we're setting the size. We're setting the size of this spiral based on the loudness. We're also grabbing some other built-in variables. We don't see them because I don't have them toggled. But mouse X and mouse Y, you can't toggle those. But you'll notice these variables are grabbing anywhere my mouse is. So if I start this little thing, see how it says go to X, go to Y, and it's where my mouse X and Y is? Well, you'll see that. You'll see that with this when I click where it's going, and this is where it says mouse down. And we'll get more into these here in a minute, but I'm just wanting to do an overview of these sprites. Let's go ahead and do this, and let's click start, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. This thing's going to slowly follow my mouse, and this one's, see how it's always pointing to it, and it's going to change in size. Click, 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 click. See how it's changing in size by the volume that I'm using here. So that's what we're going to go over here in this next lesson. We're really going to go over the blocks that are being used, but you kind of have an idea now of our sprites and what we're going to be doing with those.